further ado, ladies and gentlemen, in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game number 2, potentially the last game if Team Oxygen can perform in the same way that they did in the game number 1. Potentially the final game of Agora's Rising EU number 2. They look so very strong. We'll see how Blood Groupies does as we just take a look at what could potentially be the last Agora's Rising on Legacy. Such a pretty map. Epic has, I believe, one of the most talented artist teams in all of the world designing this game. This game is just so phenomenally aesthetically pleasing in ways that stimulate me that I probably shouldn't describe on stream. Let's introduce these teams.
Oh my god.
In blue, fittingly in blue, as they used to be called, Oxygen Blue. Marty Rivia on Decker once again. B Certified on Sevarog. Leighton on Grux. iCaren on Sparrow. Toklik on Faye.
Shane. I just figured it out, and I'll tell you in just a minute. Kalari Bot on Howitzer. Fairless on Narbash. Mr. Wacko on Murdoch. Remix Gibbler on Rampage. And Airsick Hydra on Quang. Shane.
What'd you figure out?
Gadget ban. Allow B Certified to farm a little bit more effectively in the lane against a melee fighter.
That's true.
Hello,
goodbye, Mr. Wacko. You almost were able to finish that thought by the time he died. You almost were able to finish that thought. You just got you got to speed up your talking, man. I know I generally talk a little bit too slow, but
is that the reason? Is that it? Is that the reason right there? Is that why they banned him?
Well, so O2 banned Gadget. O2 banned Gadget. Is that correct?
I have to look, but is that the ban? No, I guess they banned Rampage.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they banned how they banned Rampage or Rampage.
I mean Gadget. They banned they banned Gadget. Yeah, they banned Gadget.
Okay.
Iggy was banned by
That's what I thought. Interesting. I mean that could be the case. Absolutely. I mean it's not like Sevarog has like any particular matchup where he just 100% wins. Like Kwang can kind of stand his own as well because of that on-demand armor. So I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not having to worry about the speed gate. He's not having to worry about the mine, so he has to back up. I mean, the mine is great for making you move away from your minions because you don't want it to hit your minions and your lane get over pushed.
Right.
So the gadget mine makes you back away from minions and allows your minions to push a little bit stronger, and it stops him from stacking that Q. So this lets him at least stay in that engagement a little bit longer and try and get those Q stacks. I'm going to say that's the reason it was banned, but I'll have to ask those guys to find out for sure.
Yeah.
Allow B Certified to farm up a little bit more. By the end of the game, he didn't have 20 stacks, by the way. Or he didn't have over 20. He wasn't near 40 stacks as far as we know because we can see. He only had that 20 stacks. So maybe they want him to stack a little bit more effectively and be a bigger factor in these team fights. While I'm talking, Remix Gibbler is a little bit at right around half health here. He's going to leap away and get out, but we're not seeing the aggression that we saw from Oxygen right off the bat. I mean, there's not 4 deaths within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so we're not seeing that aggression.
What they did before is at the 6-minute mark. I believe it was the 6-minute mark is when they got aggressive on that secondary spawning of the red buff. Hello, Paragon Bot. The Paragon Bot has blessed us with his presence once again, chat. But it was that 6-minute mark where they went into that red and they got that the really early game 3 kills that pretty much just set the tone for that game number 1. Over in mid lane here, pretty much the exact same matchup. Faye, again, as long as neither of these guys make any big misplays, neither of them should really give up kills. Howitzer is going to have his lane pushed in, but Howitzer's wave clear is sufficient enough to where his tower shouldn't be taking a huge amount of damage here. He needs to make sure he lands those rockets, though. This matchup over here in the red lane, the proverbial Ranger support versus Ranger support, is Sparrow Decker versus a Narbash Murdoch. So instead of going with the Muriel this game, falling back to what they won with 2 games, the Narbash as opposed to the Muriel. And I gotta say that Muriel was a completely was a pushover in game number 1. Narbash, he's considerably more tankier and considerably more difficult to take down. So I actually like that they switched it up here, and Fairless is back on that Narbash.
But I like that they switched up, but again, I like it because it gives them some form of CC.
Yes,
they have 2 stuns with Fairless and the Boulder from Rampage. So they have some form of CC. Last game they had no CC.
Over here in the blue lane, they're diving the tower. Level 5 on Hydra. You guys, I don't have to say it. You guys in chat know what I was about to say. Level 5, they go ahead and pick up that kill. And beautifully done. Already, Groupies are off to a better start.
Yes, they are. I mean, picking up early game kill, good rotation coming out of Rampage there, Certified keeping him farmed. It allows Airsick Hydra to back off, possibly pick up a Radiant Mantle. Is that what he's going to pick? God dang it, I'm so good at this game.
Nailed
Shane.
it.
Picks up the Radiant Mantle. I'm B certified because he was at 9 as well. Also picks up the Mad Spore Sash, which is basically the same card. One's green and the other's gold.
That's not really gold. That's like a taupe. But we won't get into that. Anyways, Notch.
It's gold, Shane.
It's taupe. I will go so Bob Ross on you.
Oh, God dang it.
Nice.
Happy little trees.
Part of me thinks that, like, after the set was over, Bob Ross was just this, like, vicious monster of, like, you know what I mean? Like, the set would end, and he'd be like, y'all have no idea what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that... I think that potentially could have been the other side of him. Well, we will never know, though, Chad. We will never know. Mid lane, getting pushed out here by Kalaribot, as we did see Togflit fell back and picked up that blue buff. We've been talking about the new map a whole bunch. The blue buff is, of course, going to be once again on Monolith, the smaller travel mode-less version that we'll hopefully get our hands on very, very soon. But there's going to be no more red buff on it. As we talk about that, Togflit uses the ultimate, uses the fly trap onto Kalari, on the Kalari bot rather, focuses out the... Oh no, the knockback mine wasn't early enough. The smasher grab is going to land. That's going to be the death of the howitzer there. I thought Kalari bot was going to be able to get out of there, but unfortunately, just maybe a hair too slow on that knockback mine, and he is going to go down in the mid lane. But yeah, there actually isn't going to be a red buff on Monolith Notch. The implications of that is actually a lot more than, you know, I think a lot of people think. That red buff is very, very important.
So, Shane, when we casted in the early days of Paragon,
yes,
we casted the crit meta and whatnot, it would come down to whose ranger had the red buff.
Yes.
Every single time, it wouldn't be who had the card power. It was what ranger had the red buff, because he was able to, one, hit 1,600 basic attacks, but he was also moving fast, so fighters couldn't get to them. And it just gave you such a huge advantage. So instantly, who's got the red buff? Okay, that team's going to come out on top here. And with that being, it's, in my opinion, red buff is super overpowered. Whether you put it on a fighter or you put it on a ranger, it gives you so much attack speed, not attack speed, movement speed. You can say just stuck onto forever. A target, or kite forever if you're a ranger. So red buff being removed, it's going to be replaced by the green buff on the new map, which gives you regen.
I was not able to kill it ever because it was like super bugged when we played.
I killed it with Kwang because Kwang was super bugged. Kwang was super bugged, so I killed it with him. But it gave you regen, it gave you movement speed, and it gave you extra damage to jungle minions. So while in the jungle it was activated, the moment you left the jungle, it didn't give you a buff.
I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on that map, and more importantly, I can't wait to cast that map. It's going to be a new experience for all of us, but as we move our eyes back onto the current game, the fact that Blood Groupies aren't just bleeding kills and bleeding objectives is a good thing for them. Once again, Kalaribot is the one that may be in some distress here, is going to get Smasher Grab. Is there an ultimate? Is there a knockback? Is there anything to get him back in? He is going to be able to get away there. I'm not sure if he didn't have his ultimate or if he just played that really, really patiently. But I think he's starting to respect Leighton a little bit more. He's playing a little bit more with his head up, looking around, eyes are moving around, looking for that, and was able to avoid that gank and make sure he didn't go down a second time. That
combo from Grux and Faye is really strong.
Yes.
Smash grab into Brambles. You're pulled, I mean, all the way to the hero. You lay a Brambles. You're slowed now. Great combo between those two heroes.
Gotta hit that.
He's got to be careful here mid lane.
Leighton dodged it. He dodged the knockback mine. The knockback mine was actually put in a place to where it didn't fall on top of Leighton. Leighton recognized that he could have just avoided it, and he just went ahead and charged right away. So if that knockback, if that landmine was pushed right on top of Leighton to where there was no way he could avoid it, that potentially could have been a kill right there. Hold that thought. The first containment fence of the game is going to be on the Narbash. Long Arm of the Law actually does not connect right there. Is he going to be able to get away? He's still alive somehow, and I think the team actually is going to keep him alive. A collapse onto iCameron. He's very, very low, but here comes Leighton on that Grux. They are going to be able to take him out. iCameron does get the kill. Here comes Kalaribot into the sky and raining hell from above. But they are going to be able to get themselves out of there. A Ranger for a Ranger thus far, and now Marty is disconnected. I don't know. He just kind of stood there. We'll have to see. Maybe he had a lag spike or something. So a 2-for-1 exchange. Blood Groupies, they come out. They, as of right now, yeah, they come out of the engagement in their favorable position. They gave up the Ranger, but they got 2 in exchange for it, and might now be looking to push down a tower.
Yeah, that I gotta say that the thud that ended up getting the kill onto Mr. Wacko, but that thud actually kept him alive a little bit longer. He was able to deal a little bit more damage. Great ultimate coming out of Remix there. He popped it early. We see a lot of Rampages pop that ultimate just a little bit too late. He did pop it early. Is he going to fall here, though? He's got to be very careful.
No, that's a
big
misplay.
The tower, he is going to fall. Big misplay. He thought minions were going to be the MVP there. He ends up falling to that tower. Big misplay from him. As I just said how well he did. Thanks, Remix, you big jerk.
Talk, there's a red buff right there if you want to pick it up, brother. He'll hear that 3.5 minutes from now and be like, oh, thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
So that what Marty did DC in that fight, which is unfortunate. I think he was dead anyways, to be perfectly honest. But hopefully he'll be back. As of right now, there is not a pause feature inside of Paragon. Of course, guys, disclaimer: this is a true beta, in the sense that there's still a lot of features that are yet to be implemented. There is no pause feature, so the pretty much, in the words of Happy Gilmore, you have to play it where it sits or play it where it stands. So unfortunately, right now, Oxygen have to deal with that DC in the best way that they can. But again, I think that kill was secured nonetheless, even with that disconnect. So Blood Groupies, they pick up 2 kills. Game number 1 is already just looking so much better for them, though. Maintaining the status quo is good. But the question I'm asking myself is, will that actually lead and translate into a objective or a victory?
Hydra's got to be very careful here. He was trying to get that kill and be certified. He went under the tower, took 2 shots. He is going to end up paying for that, and he does fall late and able to come in and secure that last hit on him there. But yeah, like you said, are they going to be able to continue this into the late game? When Marty comes back, they still have the draft. I still put in favor of Oxygen. Yes, the draft is better on the side of Blood Groupies, but this draft still favors Oxygen a bit. They just have more ability to combo those ults a little bit better.
So over here, unfortunately, iKramen is all by himself and has to play very, very carefully here. Pops the inner fire. Here comes the ultimate from Fearless. No means of interruption. iKramen should be going down here as long as they play this correctly. He does have the red buff and the black buff. And, well, iKramen the God is going to say, if you think you can 1v2 me, you better think again. He comes in there and actually might get the double kill.
How is he still alive?
iKramen, this is why he is so widely respected in the Paragon community. They disrespected the God. They did not foresee the prophecy of iKramen coming in there and murder in the first degree. iKramen. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That's my analysis of the situation.
Shane, there is no analysis. You can't analyze an amazing play like that. He should have died. Everything right there was leading to his death. Ultimate went off from Narbash. Wacko was there shooting him in the face, and he just killed them both. Yes, the rotation came from Talkflit, but the fact that he lived, by the way, the number with 27 health, hello, and then killed 2 of them. Team, somebody ban this guy from the tournaments. This is insane.
Now, yes, we got to give credit to the Fae. The Fae is the one who enabled that. If Talkflit didn't show up, iKramen probably would have died there. But just the fact that iKramen put himself in a situation to where that was a possibility is a very, very impressive display here. All the meanwhile, in the other lanes, Be Certified has been pushing out this blue lane for some time, to the point where that tower might actually fall here. Mr. Rocco was there to clean it up. If there was a siege minion there, it definitely would be going down, but at a moment's notice, that tower will be falling down. And of course, maintaining control of this area is very important if you, in terms of, as the game goes on and that Ord Prime starts to be a little bit more of an obtainable objective. Mid lane is pretty much just, you know, business as usual. Kalari bot and Talkflit continue to push each other's lane and try to find any sort of wiggle room. So when it comes to the mid lane and how... When a mid lane is a stalemate between 2 heroes that can't really have any kill opportunity on each other, then secondarily, the next thing you can do to create opportunity and open and create tempo is to push the lane into the tower of your opponent and then rotate around and try to find an opportunity. And that's exactly what Talkflick did. He pushed in the lane that created the space for him to rotate to iKramen, to save iKramen, and essentially give iKramen that double kill.
So Marty's power went out, is what happened, by the way.
RIP.
We were too late into the game for them to actually reform, so they just got to get him back. In the meantime, we do have the rest of Oxygen's farming effectively. They're not behind card power. Marty's only at 15, so if he comes back here soon, he's not going to have a crazy disadvantage. It's okay as a ranger to fight, or as a support to fight on that back foot. Remix has to be very careful here. I'm not sorry, not Remix. Kalaribot has to be very careful here. Leighton with that blink forward is able to secure that kill onto Marty, and then we've got a death as well.
Oh, my Cameron
Remix
is going to get knocked up. My Fairless, they're trying to get in there. Does miss the thunk. Airsick, unfortunately, just can't seem to latch onto any targets.
That
now
red buff.
Airsick Hydra show up. It's that red buff. This is what we talked about. This is why the red buff is so extraordinarily important. Long Arm of the Law is not going to connect either. So Blood Groupies, they were looking, they were performing better when it was a 5v5 than it was when a 4v5. Give up 3 kills, and now they potentially, yeah, they're going to be losing this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Airsick Hydra overstays his welcome. The Brambles into the root, into the smash and grab, so much crowd control. And they should be able to pick up the Kwang as well, so that's going to be 4 going down here. Now that opens up the opportunity for a push in the tier 2 tower.
I talked about how strong that red buff was, and you just got to witness the strength of that red buff.
He's back,
Kwang
boys.
could not get to Cameron, and Cameron was still able to deal a ton of damage in that engagement. He's got a 27 card power. He's sitting at 27 card power right now, so he has a card power advantage by what, three levels, 2-3 levels against most of these guys right now. Solid gameplay coming out of these guys. Marty is back. Power has been restored, ladies and gentlemen. He's only sitting at 15 card power, so he's similar to their Narbash right now. He's a decker. Again, a support can play from behind.
Yes.
As long as he's landing those stasis bombs, and as long as he's got proper containment fences, he will be perfectly okay in these matches.
Taking a look at the numbers after the devastation that has gone down thus far. The score 11-3. Let's look at that Ranger farm. 30 on Cameron, 24 on Murdoch. So it's not the end of the world. It's 2 card levels, but I think it's the other discrepancies of farm in the other classes here. Rampage at 21 to Leighton's 30. Talkflit's 27 to Hauser's 24. That's not too bad. And then Kwang's 24 to Certified's Sephiroth with that 30. So as far as the Ranger matchup, it's not too bad, but the other matchups between the fighters, the casters, and the supports, it is not looking, it's not painting a pretty picture here for Blood Groupies. They've played from behind before. They looked good. Like I said, when it was a 5v5, they were doing well. Then I think, I mean, was there maybe some reverse psychology where they knew it was 4v5, so they started playing sloppy, and Oxygen was able to capitalize on it? That may, I mean, to be honest, that may be the case.
We've seen matches before where somebody DCs and the team plays a little bit respectful, if you will. They don't over push. They don't try and take the advantage. So maybe that's what it was. And Oxygen was like, "This is a tournament. We're going to continue to go hard."
Yeah.
So it could be that, or it could just be Oxygen's just that damn good.
Yeah.
That they don't care if somebody DCs. Talklet's got to be very careful here. He's alone. There's a knockback line coming out of Kalaribot. Remix Gibbler is here. We are starting to see the rotation come over, but it may be too late. There's that blink out of there to get away. Stun. Hits him with a thud.
All right, here we go. There's the Venus Fly Trap. The Decker containment field does go down, isolating Fairless. Is there an interrupt? He's trying to play the song of his people. Is it going to be enough? Talklet does go down. A 1-for-1 exchange. A support for the support caster of Faye. Rampage no longer has that ultimate. Here comes Cameron with that inner fire. The knockback mine is going to interrupt those auto attacks, at least for now. A 1-for-1 exchange. So, yeah, now that it's a 5v5 again, Blood Groupies are taking an even fight there. So, it's amazing how that happens. All the meanwhile, right lane has been pushing in the favor of Team Oxygen. That tower might take a little bit of damage, but we do see the rotation is here. Certified being very aggressive, actually, in his opponent's blue jungle. Has got to be careful. Lands a root, should be able to get away. But it's that red lane tier 1 tower that's more than likely going to fall here in just a moment.
He's gonna. This gameplay when they were down a hero was not there, and now they're 5v5s again.
Yeah,
and they're playing better. What just happened? Hello, team?
It's that reverse psychology, man. It's that reverse psychology. I think that's totally what's happening right now.
Talklet. I mean, we are starting to see, of course, blink charms are becoming very, very strong in the current meta. And once we get to the new map, I think they'll be even stronger.
Yes,
but Talklet did use that to try and get away. He ended up getting caught out still and dying. But good engagement, good fly trap into that Decker containment fence. Separated the teams a little bit so they couldn't. That's one of the reasons I think that team fight just kind of stopped and everybody just backed off. is we saw the Decker containment fence into the fly trap separate teams a bit, and they just backed off and let it happen. 1-for-1 exchange. Don't want to lose towers. Be certified. Made sure that, they went back, made sure their tier 2 tower wasn't getting pushed because there's a minion wave there. Setting the lanes is so important, Shane. Minion management.
Very, very
and you see that it's yes, you can have an engagement and you can come out on top, but you may lose a tower in the meantime. So they have to make sure those lanes are set in their favor before you go into those engagements.
I really like that minion management has been put back into the game. It was taken away for a little bit, but it's just another tool that teams can use to build strategies, build drafts, and essentially find ways to outplay, outthink, and outmaneuver their opponent. I know a lot of people, some people aren't necessarily fans of them, but it's just another tool in the toolbox of teams to play this game to the best of their abilities and just allow those creative ways of finding victories, of finding objectives on the field, as opposed to it really just being down to, okay, we just want to fight, let's push a wave. There's other ways to create pressure on the map, so there's just another layer for teams to think about, both offensively and defensively when it comes to the strategy of the game. Be Certified was getting chased after. He doesn't get tethered up right there, so he should be okay. Be Certified is one of those players who's so good at walking that tightrope of pushing out lanes and always being on the other side of the field and being aggressive, but at the same time, he knows exactly when to retreat and when to be a little bit more passive.
Yeah, he's I've watched him in the solo lane many games. I watch his stream. Be Certified streams all the time, and he just has this way of getting out of these engagements. I mean, we saw Kalari bot rotating around. If that tether would have landed, I think he may have died, but he's just this nuisance.
Oh man,
in the
Mr.
solo
Ruffles
lane.
got to be careful. The stun is going to be there. There's a containment fence as well. Can they get him out? They can. Mr. Wako did not respect the Decker rotation, who had been missing. And now look at Leighton. He came out from behind. I think he actually blink charmed up to the high ground to the smash and grab. What a play right there. Leighton is honestly one of the biggest playmakers in all of Paragon. I think he blink charmed up there to get that smash and grab. I'm not sure how he got there. That's the only way he potentially could have got there. 2 kills, a tier 2 tower in the red lane, and now pressure onto an inhibitor. I don't think they're gonna be able to pick it up, but at least push out this lane. Continue to dictate the control and the momentum of this game, and Team Oxygen have set themselves in prime position to take this game.
Yeah, they put themselves in prime position to go pick up the Orb Prime. They know 2 people's on the map. They started already rotating over to that. They started rotating over to that always. I think Cameron is going to back off. Okay, so they're not going to take it now. Leighton just backed off. Are they? What are they going to do? They are going to pick it up. Severog's here. Be Certified's here. Cameron's still alive. Their main source of damage. So they're going to try and pick this up right now. So, again, put themselves in prime position to pick up this Orb Prime and possibly win this game.
Every time we say that, someone has to take a shot.
Every prime position to pick up the Orb Prime?
Yeah.
Done. Perfect. I'm going to say it a lot then. You're all going to be drunk by the end of the stream. Boom!
So there it is. Prime cards have been activated, and taking a look at the prime cards. Centurion, the tank prime card on Grux, Severog, and Decker. Sparrow picks up the Warlord, and Faye picks up.
I would have landed that boulder, by the way.
I know you would have. I wouldn't have. You would have. You literally don't miss boulders.
I don't miss boulders.
So Blood Groupies, taking a look, assessing the situation. The situation is not quite as dire as it was in game number 1, but again, we always use that precedent of the range comparing the Ranger's farm. And I Cameron at 42, and Wacko on the Murdoch just now hitting 33. That's a 4-card level lead on top of a prime card activation.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, that is the damage, the discrepancy of how much damage these Rangers are going to be doing. Cameron is just going to be doing it's going to be devastation once he hits that inner fire and he has that AoE auto attack, especially if he hits level 13, because the way inner fire works as it levels up, the AoE, the conic damage, the AoE damage that it does goes from 30% damage to 60% to 90%. So that's essentially a 30% increase in damage if he just gets 1 more level. He's level 12, and he's about to be level 13. If he can hit that level 13 before the team fight goes down, this Sparrow is just going to be a wrecking ball.
Yeah, he's been a wrecking ball now, but now you give him that extra boost of 65 extra physical damage,
yeah,
100 damage bonus, plus 100% damage bonus, plus, you know, to minions and towers. So he is. This is a hard fought right here. Can they defend do you push a tower? They just went and reset all their lanes. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but that's what they were doing. They rotated and set both of the off lanes.
Remix is having to pop the ultimate. They got to be careful. Howitzer drops the ultimate in a pretty decent position, but they are going to fall back immediately. Howitzer really hasn't been able to get off a really big... It has to use the zoning ultimate as a zoning tool more than anything else. So the Howitzer ultimate is down, and that's their biggest tool at thwarting off diving this inhibitor. I felt like maybe Kallari should have displayed a little bit of patience, but no Rampage ultimate, no Kallari ultimate. Smasher grab on a Remix. He immediately has to jump away. The containment fence was beautifully placed. They knew exactly where he was going to jump. Cameron comes in there with the inner fire. The aggressive Blink Charm forward and knocking him out. The alley-oop, if you will. Cameron's taking the inhibitor, but it doesn't matter. He's going to just be focusing down the Murdoch. Can he get him? He does get him. 2 go down. This could be the game. This could be the finals. Team Oxygen can smell that Maturino prize pool. Now Hydra's caught out. He's going to go down. A 3-for-0 exchange. Team Oxygen are going to go onto the core and be able to take this finals. Take Agora's Rising EU #2. It eluded them the last time we did this, but they came back this tournament, and with a vengeance, they just put a spike in the heart of their opponent here on Blood Groupies.